adults systemize adulting with their families together. Today's struggle comes from Loretta White Anderson. Her son is over 21. He has autism and an intellectual disability. So her thoughts are that her son needs structure and direction. And let's look at that in terms of, how can this fit into, what we talk about every week at The Art of Adulting. How can The Art of Adulting help Loretta? And let's first start then with Seeing Autism, the approach that Barb Avila has that she outlines clearly in her book, Seeing Autism, of connecting, of understanding what's going on, then connecting, and finally, what are the practices that we need to put in place to make things better for us and our autistic young adults. So let's understand first what is going on in Loretta's family with her 21-year-old son, and he's adorable. So I saw some pictures on Facebook. So, and it's very clear that Loretta is totally head over heels in love with her son. So what's happening? Why is there, some dissonance happening in Loretta's life? And I think that what would be helpful to Loretta is to have a way to get to peace. And I love this, find peace in the pieces. I love this image. I'm sorry that it doesn't show up so well, but what we want to do is we want to break life down into categories and figure out, let's get real specific about what our expectations are for, first, ourselves, and then second, for our autistic young adult. So first, we need to decide how we want to show up in every area of our life. And then we want to monitor how well we're doing that and figure out, what could be helpful and what approaches work, and keep experimenting on different ways to show up so that we figure out really what works best for us and makes us be the mom, the person that, we're really proud of. And then we want to take the time to do the same thing for our autistic young adult with them, with their help, because that's going to give them the structure that they're going to need in their life for the rest of their life. And we can do this over and over with them so that it becomes a habit knit part of their lives, so that they themselves know, oh, these are the habits that I put in place and here, and their reasons why they're there for my life, for the rest of my life. May need assistance, and that's perfectly okay. Definitely supports are appropriate, and they need them, and there's no shame in it, and they need to know how to ask for the supports that they need in their life and why. So that's why The Art of Adulting can seriously help in this part with Loretta and with her family, because we really want to be the change that we're looking for first for ourselves, and then the coach for our autistic young adults. So by practicing these skills and strategies ourselves first, we get a good handle on them so that we can then help our autistic young adults practice, learn and practice, be aware of what it is that needs to be done and practice in each of the areas of their life. And by breaking it down, it just gives us that peace. Oh, we've broken it down into pieces, and now we can have peace because we realize that we're going to meet ourselves where we are in each one of the categories of our lives, in each one of the domains. I call them domains of our life. We're going to meet ourselves where we are, and then we're going to decide what we need to do to level up. And then we're going to decide maybe there might be something that we're doing that we want to stop doing. And it's a wonderful process that I promise you is going to yield, give you so much peace in your life. So, all right, let's connect first with ourselves and then with our autistic young adults. Let's see what we can do to help Loretta again here. I'm going to tell you that the major tool, the first tool, is the SEER map, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to notice what our primitive brain, what our default brain, the brain that keeps us alive, the brain that tells us that we need to be safe, we need to conserve energy, and we need to belong to a tribe because that's going to keep us safe as well. And we need to seek the pleasure of being in the company. I mean, our brains are wired for connection. So this primitive brain is going to steer our lives on purpose to protect us and keep us alive. And know that, with our autistic young adults, that brain is highly sensitive to what's going on, usually what's going on around them. So that's why we see a lot of anxiety with our autistic young adults, because that amygdala, that primitive part, is just on fire, always scanning the environment, looking for whatever threats or dangers or pleasures there could be. But because we're human and we have this mind piece that supervises our brain, and that's the piece that we have to train. That's the part of our brain. Some people call it our soul. Some people call it the neutral watcher. It's the part of where we can actually watch ourselves think. It's pretty miraculous. This is the part that we can train with our thoughts to direct this other part, which is our primitive brain. And we can say, okay, thank you, brain, for giving me that option. This is what we're going to do now. I mean, yes, I agree that chocolate brownie looks really good right now. And yet I know that I might have a moment of pleasure, but in the long term, what I want to do is eat planned foods. That's just an example of how we can train our brain. So first, we need to connect with ourselves by noticing what our thoughts are that are created by the situation. And the situation is always neutral. Facts. Facts can't hurt us. Facts. And we have to separate the thoughts. What's the difference between the facts and the thoughts? So by connecting with ourselves first, and then noticing what's happening with our young adult and teaching them this tool as well. And I believe everyone can learn this tool, because everyone knows the difference between a fact and the story that we're telling ourselves about it, the thoughts that wrap our, that where we tell a story, and this becomes so believable because we repeat it over and over again, and it becomes a truth, but it's not a fact. So then the practice then is to, okay, what do we do next? We need to proactively partner with ourselves and our autistic young adults to create a life we love that works. And here's where I get to the pieces. Once I've broken my life, I've done this for years now, and I've broken my life down into the 10 categories. I've decided what I want in each one and what I'm going to do each day in each one. I realized that this comes from Atomic Habits by James Clear. I love an author whose last name is Clear, and he is very, very clear in the way that he writes. So I highly recommend that book, Atomic Habits. He shows us here, and trust me, math was not my strength, but he shows me here mathematically why all we have to do is get 1% better every day, and we will be 37.78 times better at the end of 365 days. Mathematically proven there. Just 1% better in each area of our life every day, and we will grow immensely. On the other hand, if we get 1% worse, we're going to slowly go down to, zero, but we're never going to meet zero. But the point is that the effect of small habits compound over time. What a relief that is. I don't have to figure it all out. I just have to do my best, and maybe a little bit better, every day, that 1% better each day. That gives me so much peace. I don't have to perfect my life, this project, my to-do list every day. All I have to do is is just push myself to get a little bit better each day, and I will be incredibly better by the end of the year. So that's the first thought I would offer to you, Loretta. And I really hope you get a chance to watch this video. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to notice where you're making progress. This is so helpful. The book is from, this concept is from The Gain in the Gap by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And the idea is, Dan Sullivan is consults with entrepreneurs, and you have to have your own company and making over $200,000 a year to even qualify to be coached by him. And he shares in the book that CEOs successful CEOs with their own companies are twice as likely to be depressed than the general population. What? These are people doing exactly what they want to do, and yet they're depressed. What's going on? And he figured it out. What's going on is they are focusing on where they are. You see that little, there we are, it's mirrored. See that little guy right there? That's who they are versus their ideal. They are in the gap. They are always looking and concentrating on what they need to do to get better. And they never remember. I mean, it's hard. They just focus on all the things that aren't right in their lives. And instead, Dan Sullivan argues that what we need to do is, okay, yes, we have to have that ideal out there of where we want to go. We have to have that shining ideal out there to light the path that we want to travel on. But we can't measure ourselves by the gap between where we are and our ideal, because like the horizon, it is always moving out. The minute we humans achieve or acquire something, then we think of the next thing that we want. Our needs are always progressing. So there will always be a gap between where we are and our ideal. So instead, we need to measure ourselves backwards. We need to measure ourselves on the progress that we have made, the gain. And we need to notice that every day. And the easiest way to do that is at the end of each day, you write down 3 things you did. That's it. You write down 3 things you did. And then cue yourself up for the next day. Write down 3 things that you need to do tomorrow. And if you do that every single day, you will notice your progress. Your brain will go, oh, we are making progress. No worries. All we have to do is make progress 1% better each day. So I offer to Loretta that even though things look tough, even though you're still really far away from your ideal, just know that you're always going to be far away from your ideal. World peace isn't here yet. You know, we all want the peaceful world. So that's our vision. But, you know, we've got to see how far we've come, and look at how far we've come. We're so much more interdependent than we used to be. We know people from all over the world now. There's really a chance that we're going to have more world peace. Okay, there's still going to be people out there trying to start wars, and all that stuff's going to happen. But just think of how much more close we are as a human race now than we used to be. And in spite of what's happening today in our world, we really have made significant progress in the area of world peace in this last century. So focusing on the gain, write down 3 things you've done today that were important to you, and then 3 things that you're going to get done tomorrow. Why 3? Because it's just, I mean, you probably got more than 3 things done, but it's just easier from your brain to remember 3 things than it is more than 3 things. So that's what we teach in the Art of Adulting, is how to train our brains to work better for us. That part of, to steer our lives better. Saying, no, brain, we're going over here. Instead of having that, that brownie, we're gonna plan on having that brownie on Saturday night. We're just not gonna have chocolate every day of the week. As much as it sounds like a good idea, on the short run, on the long run, it's not really the best thing for us, even though chocolate, what can I say? We're still going to steer our brain to the thing that we really want, which is a healthy body. We want to nurture our body and our brain with whatever we put in our mouth. And we work on that in the Art of Adulting as well. All of these concepts and ideas are really, we can have them at our fingertips, and then we can give them, we can train, and we can be the coach for our autistic young adults. So first, we're going to be the change for ourselves. We're going to figure out how do we make all this work for us, and then we're going to be the coach that we've always dreamed of being for our autistic young adult, and help them apply the same concepts in their life. So please join me, lindsay-davison.com/waitlist or /welcome. Either one of those pages will get you into learning more about what I offer at The Art of Adulting, and I really can't wait to see you in there. Bye for now.